Hi everyone, welcome to our Gemara shiur. We've been on Torah time for quite a long time already, Baruch Hashem. And although usually we are doing Masechet Shabbos, that's a regular Masechet as of now, but today, since we have Pesach coming, Pesach is approaching, and therefore it has been decided by people here in the shiur that we can and should start learning Masechet Pesachim, not the entire Masechta, but we will learn Be'ezus Hashem the first few dapim with the topics that have to do with B'dika, Bitul, Biur chametz. How do we get rid of chametz? Why do we need both B'dika and Bitul? We're actually going to discuss it today. The mechanism, the correlation between B'dika's chametz, Biur, and the Bitul chametz. So Be'ezus Hashem, Nasiv v'Netzliach. Our shiur, as we know, is not too much of Bekias, not too much of Iyun, just regular Gemara shiur. Like the good old days, no daf yomi, no amud yomi, just learning Gemara. These things do exist, believe it or not. So we will today actually look at more Meforshim than usual. We're going to have a look at besides the regular Gemara, we will aim to maybe try and finish most of the Amud. Besides that, we're going to have a look at the Ran at the end of the Gemara. I will probably mention the Bartanura and the Mishnah too, Be'ezus Hashem, and also the Mishnah Brura, how he defines B'dika and Bitul. Okay, Be'ezus Hashem, the shiur is L'nishmas my father, Menachem ben Akiva, and the shiur is warmly dedicated to all the hostages. May they come home very, very quickly, safe and sound. Okay, so let's go. Says the Holy Mishnah, the beginning of Maseches Pesachim, Be'ezus Hashem. Or l'arba'asar, what or l'arba'asar means, we're going to discuss in the Gemara, but we know that or le means the eve of, the night before arba'asar, the night before the 14th of Nisan, meaning basically one night before Leil HaSeder. Or l'arba'asar, boid kines chametz lo oner. One has to check for chametz, making sure that there's no chametz in the house by the light of the candle. Yeah, you can't do it by daylight, anyhow it's at night. The light has to be of or aner. Maybe if it gets more la'alocha, we'll discuss later using a flashlight. Right now, the Mishnah says that the b'dika has to be done by the light of the candle. And actually, the Gemara brings down psukim that prove that the b'dika has to be done by the light of the candle, not by the light of big fire, or preferably not by the window, by the moonlight, let's say. It has to be by or aner. Says the Mishnah, Kol mokum she'en mechnisin bo chametz, ein tzorich b'dika. Any place which you know that throughout the year chametz does not go there, for example, toilet, bathroom, people usually don't bring chametz there, ein tzorich b'dika. In other words, if it's a place of a suffix, it sounds like you do need to do b'dika. If you know that chametz doesn't go in there, then b'dika is not required. There's a strong chazaka that this place has no chametz in it, because you never bring chametz in there. That's not your habit, and therefore you don't need to check that place. Or some Rishonim say, Lama omru. Why did they say? The Tana knew that they said there's a statement based shurs b'maltef. Yeah, in other words, it says in the Mishnah. Really, this is the Mishnah. Yeah, the Meforshim explained that Rabbi HaKadosh knew that's written in another Mishnah, but apparently this is the Mishnah where it's at the end of the written down. Why did Chachamim say it's known to Bala Mishnah that there was a previous statement that they said that you have to check 2 rows of wine in the maltef, which means maltef is a cellar, in this case a wine cellar, and the Gemara's question is, why are you telling me that you have to check the wine cellar? The assumption is the wine cellars are not a place where we bring chametz. Wine cellar is where the wine is, and I don't know, every once in a while, when wine is, you ran out of wine, then you have to bring wine from the cellar, but you don't eat there and you don't bring chametz in there. So lama, instead of beme, lama omu shtei shuros b'maltef. Why did Chazal say, why do we have a Messiris from early Chazal that 2 shuros, 2 rows of barrels require b'dika? Don't we say that a place where chametz is not, it's a no chametz zone, you don't need to be boidik. So why is the martef, why is the wine cellar different? And therefore, mokum shmachnisin v'chometz. Answers the Mishnah, really, the only martef, the only wine cellar which you have to be boidik is a kind of wine cellar which machnisin v'chometz. It's a type of wine cellar which is not one of those, fancy, dark, underground wine cellar, the big veer, when it comes Yom Tov or Chasana once in a while, that's where he brings the wine. To such a place, no reason for chametz to be there. It's meant to be just for the fine wine kept in the corner. But however, what kind of wine cellar does require bdika? A kind of wine cellar shemachnisin v'chometz, as Rashi explains, although we don't see Rashi inside right now. This is a kind of wine cellar which is for more immediate use, more like your regular wine cupboard in the kitchen, yeah. Yeah, the larder or wherever you keep the wine, that cupboard in the kitchen or the dining room. And that kind of place is a place in which if sometimes you run out of wine in the middle of the meal, where people eat chametz, yeah, then you run out of wine, you send your shamish, if you have one, you send your servant, if you're lucky enough to have one, yeah, the shamish, while he's eating chametz, he's asked to go to the wine cellar to bring you some other wine. He may go to the cellar with chametz in his hands, because that's a more immediate day-to-day use kind of, more regularly used martef, wine cellar. And he may go there with his pita, with his baguette, with his bread, and because of that, that kind of wine cellar requires bdika. How many rows of barrels require bdikas chometz? We won't go into details now on purpose because it's not too much the issue. We'll just read the Mishnah. B'shamai oimrim beis shuras al pnei kol hamartef. B'shamai say you have to check 2 rows over the entire martef, the two lines or 2 rows of wine barrels of the entire martef, of the entire cellar. Basila say not the entire front row, let's say, of two layers, but only the 2 top ones, the top exterior ones. Only these are the ones which you take. Yeah, you always take from the top, not from the bottom, right? The top, the top front lines, rows, that's the one you're more likely to take the wine from, and that's where Mr. Shamish may come with his pita in his hand, and therefore you have to do the bdika. Again, I don't have to be smarter than Rashi. Rashi himself says that those details regarding exactly what are these 2 lines, exterior, superior, that will be discussed in the Gemara. What's much more interesting right now to go into, and we're going to go into a little bit of Iyun. We're also going to read some Meforshim here, including Mishnah Berurah. I always say Mishnah Berurah is one of the best Meforshim on the Gemara. So Rashi, let's look at Rashi on the Mishnah. Rashi says, Lo ner b'Gemara for look at the second line in Rashi, Boidkin. Why do you have to do bdikas chometz? Yeah? Simple question. Why does one have to do bdikas chometz? We know you boidek in order to burn it the morning after. Boidkin, says Rashi, in other words, if you don't do the bdika, you're going to have the chametz in your house. And if you're going to have the chametz in your house the day after, when Pesach comes in, you'll be over balera balimotze. Simple. Isur d'oraisa balera balimotze. As we all know, every child knows that there are several isurim regarding chametz. There's mitzvah saseh, mitzvah lo taseh. Generally speaking, without going into details, there is an isur obviously of eating chametz, chas v'shalom. That's an isur kores. That's a severe isur, yeah, right? You're not lo toichal chametz, not allowed to eat chametz. Besides that, we all know there's another isur of baliroi balimotze. It shall not be seen, it shall not be found. You're not allowed to even own chametz and have it in your property on Pesach, and that's an isur d'oraisa. There's also mitzvahs aseh, worthwhile mentioning already now. There's mitzvahs aseh of tashbitu. Tashbitu means make sure your chametz is mushbat, whatever that means. Your chametz is out, either out physically, you have to burn it, or out mentally, you have to be mevatel, make sure the chametz is not there, or both. Yeah, you have to make sure actively not to own any chametz on Pesach. Back to Rashi. Okay, simple. Don't keep chametz in your house. It's baliroi balimotze. Can't have the chametz in your house, and therefore make sure to check for it. Maybe there's chametz in the door, in the teenager's room, in the baby's room. I'm sure there's chametz in the kitchen, probably. right? And therefore, check it all, bring it all, burn it all, because otherwise you'll be over bala bala matzah. That seems to be like the simplest Rashi I think I read in my life, almost. But the Rishonim are all up in arms against or pro Rashi. And before we ask our questions, and before we actually look at Tosfos, I would like to take us to Vav Amud Beis. Everybody at home and everybody here, please turn the pages to Daf Vav Amud Beis. Vav Amud Beis. Yeah, we have here, yeah, after the two dots, the words Omer Rav Yuda, Omer Rav. Yeah, these are words about below uh, the middle of the page, after halfway through and more down. Omar Rav Yuda, the line starts with Omar Rav Yuda, Vav Amud Beis, Vav Amud Beis. Omar Rav Yuda, Omar Rav. Haboidek tzorich shevatel. Even a person who checked his chametz and clearly burnt it, he still has to do something called bitul. We all do that. Kol chamir v'chamia, the chazis of the lo chazisei. That's the second bitul. We're mevatel any chametz that may be in our house. We're mevatel bitul is a form of kind of hefker. You mevatel, you cancel, and you say, even if I have any chametz in my house, I still declare I don't want it. It should be like the dust of the earth, like dirt. I'm not interested in it, and therefore it's a strong form of halachic hefker. It's not mine anymore. But the question of the Gemara is, my time. Why is that? If I checked each and every nook and cranny, and I was crouching and lying on all four in the entire house, yeah, playing hide and seek with the chametz, right? Why do I also after that need to do bitul, right? I don't have chametz in my house, probably. So why do I also have to cancel and annul all the chametz in my house, right? So now the Gemara is suggesting inem mishum perurin. Oh, maybe it's because there are crumbs. You checked, but maybe not checked hard enough. Ask the women. Maybe there's a tiny little crumb over there, a little a perurale over there. So maybe because of them, you have to. You didn't get them. You didn't get them. You didn't find them, right? You know, you have a big house. Right? You didn't try hard enough. You found the 10 pieces and you're happy. The ones that the kids hide for you. Maybe you didn't find the small perurin. Zog the Gemara, haloi choshivi. Those perurim are not important. In other words, that's interesting. And again, we'll discuss it later. Right now, the Gemara says perurim are not important enough. Some say they're not kazais. Such tiny crumbs, which I did not find after looking so, carefully. I scrutinized the house and I still didn't find it. Loi choshivi. Okay. Now I'm skipping on purpose because the Gemara rejects a Havamina, and really the Perurim are not enough of a reason to establish Bitul. Let's skip a few lines. So line starts Upturin. Omar Rove. Now comes the real final good, Maskana good answer. Omar Rove Gzer Shema Imtza Glus Kayofa V'daite Iluyei. Oh, that's the answer. A person checked and checked, and you never know. Maybe there is somewhere in the house, hidden in someone's cupboard, in someone's drawer, in the guy's a huge house, some freezer in the corner he forgot about, and he's going to find a very good looking piece of cake. Yeah, you want to turn your imagination, these things from the cooking magazines, that never exist in reality, something from the best French bakery, something that you break your diet for. Everyone's Yerei Shamayim, but still, maybe, although you checked your chametz, if you're not mevatel your chametz, you really are still owning any chametz in the house if you didn't find it. So now you may find this beautiful piece of cake worth dying for, as they say. The daite iluye. What's daite iluye? Mechlokas Rashi Toises. Let's read Rashi. Rashi is nearby. Rashi is right next to the Gemara. The daite iluye. Chashuva hi be'enov. It's an important piece of cake, expensive, nice, mouth-watering. It's a cake of your dreams. V'chas aleh lesofa. You feel bad. You have this battle with the Yetzer. Did you ever battle with the Yetzer Hara? Yeah, really? No, ever. You always win. Yeah. So chas aleh lesofa. You're very big Yerei Shamayim, but you kind of lose it, and for a few minutes or seconds or things, you're not Rabbi Sor Salanter, you may come to feel bad and not want to burn it right away. Umahashe afilu rega echad. You have that few seconds of mashe, of deliberating, what shall I do with this cake? So even if Yetzer Tov takes over, or whatever, your wife comes into the room, one of the two, yeah, whatever happens now, you don't eat it. You don't eat it. But what's going to happen? You may want to keep it a little bit. With those moments of deliberation, what happens? It's yours. It's yours. And it's not mevutel. And you didn't find it before, you didn't burn it. Aha. At that happy moment or unhappy moment, you're over. You have chametz in your house willingly. אבל משביט לה אין אויבר, דלא כוסף אלא תשביטו. Oh, which means, if the person was mevatel the piece of cake before, that's exactly Chazal Takana. Came Chazal and they said, we know human nature. You may find some expensive, nice, good-looking piece of cake over there. And until you burn it, you're going to have this yes, no moment. Yes, yes, maybe I should keep it. Boom. At that moment, the camera captures you as wanting to have that newly found chametz in your house. Short circuit. You have right? In order to avoid that, they said, no, I'm vatel any kind of chametz unseen and unknown to me before Pesach comes in, right? I'm talking now the morning of Erev Pesach, after the Sreifa, and then I'm telling myself and I'm telling the world that even if I find it, it does make a difference. Why? Because I was already mevatel of that theoretical fancy piece of cake. I'm mevatel it already to begin with. Yeah, before Pesach even came. So even if I find it, it won't help now to deliberate and yes, want it. It's already not mine. It's already not. The Gemara later asks the question, maybe it'll be mevatel it straight away. We're not going there right now, but that's basically what the Gemara says. You need both bedika and bitul, right? So again, besides the bedika and the burning, you also need to be mevatel in order to make sure that even if you find something on Pesach, it will be pre-annulled. So there's no, and you may find it technically. Maybe you didn't check everywhere. The guy has a huge house, five floors, whatever, was tired. You didn't find it. It can happen. It happened to me, I have to admit. Yeah? And therefore what? So you have to be mevatel. So even if it comes on Pesach, the chametz is not yours. So we have that safety belt called bitul. That begs the question on Rashi. Now we are ready and ripe to see Tosfos. Yeah? Let's see Tosfos. Pir Shekund, a very, very readable Tosfos. We're going through the first half of Tosfos. Question so far? You good? Says the Tosfos. Pir Shekuntes, all of us about Chametz. Pir Shekuntes, Shalava Olu Bebali Roi Bali Motze. You shouldn't be over Bali Roi Bali Motze. Now, after we saw the Gemara, it's not so simple. What's Rashi telling me? No. Rashi is wagging his fingers at us, saying if you don't do bdikas chametz and biur, you'll be over isur deoraisa bali roi bali motze. Is that so? Let's see what Tosfos has to say. The kosher says Ri, that's not true. Kev netzorach bitul kedamer b'gemara. The Gemara tells us, and we all know, we just saw it now a minute ago, about the one who did bdikas chametz, anyhow, part of the process. You're a firm person, you follow the procedure, so you do bdika. We all know you'll do bitul. So boidik has to be mevatel, and it's a must. In fact, you can do one of the two to get out of the oraisa. In other words, we saw in the Gemara, once you did bdika, hey, maybe there's that fancy, beautiful piece of cake from French de la creme, the very nice one. Maybe it's lurking to you in the corner and you'll find it, you'll be in trouble. Okay, we do bitul. Hey, wait a second. So now bitul means what? Bitul means any chametz that I may have is not mine. If so, frekt Tosfos, Tosfos' question is double-fold. It's a question on the Gemara, it's a question on Rashi. Let me explain Tosfos' question. Tosfos' question is, first of all, Tosfos is not really attacking Rashi directly, he's attacking Rashi indirectly. First of all, Tosfos is asking on the Gemara, wait a second, I understand Radika alone is not good, that amazing, 5-layer chocolate cake is out there somewhere maybe, so do bitul, so it's not yours. Yeah, you can't want it anymore, just not yours anymore, it's out of the... Wait, if so, why do you need bdika? Just do bitul and finished. Be mevatel, and you know what? It sounds like kfira. Don't tell anybody we're suggesting the idea. Not in Ezra's notion. But why clean for Pesach or do any bdika? Really, just be mevatel everything. Don't have chametz at your table, of course. Keep all the chametz in cupboards. Don't sell it to any goy. Don't do any bdika, and just do bitul. Yeah, you're gonna have bitul. Yeah, keep all the chametz where it is. Okay, make a sign chametz, chametz, chametz. Instead of selling it or even boiling and burning any chametz, why getting rid of good food? Just be mevatel it and finished. And the chametz is not yours. Life is beautiful. So why is there bdika required anyways? Now that question is also kind of shtoching Rashi's concept. What did Rashi say? If you don't do bdika, you over bali. That's not true. If I won't do bdika, I will do what? Bitul. I won't be over the oraisa, that's for sure. Because if I do bitul, yeah,
is saying what? I'm only Rishonim.
the one who's gonna. The question was asked by Tosfos in general, and Ri asks the question. I'm sorry, no, Kosher Ri, I'm sorry. The reason why asking the question. Venir Ri answers Ri. Now Ri's answer does not help Rashi. Reeves gives his own answer. Why is it that we require bdika and bitul? Venir Ri, yeah, it seems to Ri to be saying, yeah, Venir Ri. Okay. The afalgav the sagi bebitul b'alma. You're right. Midoraisa, bitul is good enough. Once the chametz is not mine, it's not mine. It's in my house physically, but it doesn't belong to me. It's not mine. No problem. Meikra din, you can have a goy's chametz in your house. It's true, yeah. A goy was mafkid by you. It's a shayla, chinam, sachar, but someone else is a goy. Mackenzie gave me chametz to look after in my house. It's not mine. It's okay. Meikra din. However, Chmiru Chachamim leave the chometz ulevaroi. Chachamim again made that's another drabanon. Even though bitul is enough midoraisa, even if you did bitul, you still have to burn it. Why? Shelo yovel ochloi. Wow. Here's another chashash. In other words, if I'm going to have my house full of chometz or half full of chometz, as mevatel is very nice. And then achnami bitul means I can't deliberate and want to own it. I don't own it anymore, but he may come to eat it. Yeah, you may come to eat the chometz, and the no, your own. And that, by the way, no, you have a good point, Akiva. Even if the chometz, it's a very good point. Even if the chometz has achil not yours, who cares? You're not allowed to eat anyone's chometz. You can't eat the chometz of yourself. Can't eat the chometz of Yaron from Tel Aviv. You can't eat the chometz of Tim McKenzie, even if it's kosher and mehadrin. I got it in the Jewish bakery for you. So what? Eating chometz has nothing to do with ownership, right? So I cannot own my chometz. Thank you very much. I may come to eat it, chas v'sholem. That's bad news. That's bad, yeah. And therefore they made both bedika and bitul. Yeah, both bedika and bir and bitul. The chen mashmal kaman. The Ri brings down his source from later. The Bayrove. We're not going to look inside, but it's quite simple. Kika b'shmei koiro. Rava has a question. You have a kika on like a ceiling. Let's say you have a double layer ceiling, yeah. Okay. Or let's say on top of a chandelier. Somebody was told me that somebody threw a piece of chandelier. You have a chometz in a place which is not naturally, reachable. Yeah, but the chometz is there. So it is in your vicinity. It's in your property. It's very unlikely you may come to actually come and grab and eat it. So what's the story? Do you have to look after it, to look for it and bring it down and burn it? Yeah, you say, no, nobody's going to eat it. I'll be mevatel and finished. Yeah, I'll be mevatel. Nobody's going to eat it. Oy Dilma, he's quoting the Gemara now. Zimnin de nofal ve'osil. Oh, so you see what? The Gemara is also concerned of chametz falling. It may fall from the chandelier, let's say. It happened in someone's house, yeah? I remember. Yeah? If the chandelier, starts, wagging its tail, and now what? And swinging, now the chametz may fall. You may come to eat it. You or your child, your wife may come to eat it by mistake. So we see that the concern that maybe you'll come to eat it is a reason to basically give us double protection. Bitul and bdika. Because even if you did bitul, you still have to do bdika in case we come to eat it. So that's Tosfos' explanation. So according to Tosfos and Chinami, the reason why we do bdika is not because of Bali Roy Bali Motze. Tosfos seems to disagree with Rashi. And Tosfos' answer would be, Tosfos would phrase the answer to the explanation to the Mishnah is, En Chinami, I'm boidek. I know I'll do bitul later. Why am I doing bdika? Am I bored or just looking for hard work for like 3 hours? Because chametz, you know, the Yaakov Kamenetsky used to do bdikas chametz all night long. Somebody told me, yeah, mamish Rav Shimshon Pincus, they were boidek like millimeter by millimeter or inch by inch in America. So it was mamish a big thing, big avoida. So then Shimshon Pincus said he got all these asogos in Ruchnis because of bdikas chametz. Yeah, yeah. So Bekitzer says Tosis, you know I have to be boydek. I know I will do the bitul later, and I will not be over Bali Rabbalamotze, unlike Rashi. However, I have to do the bedika because I'm concerned that if I'll only do the bitul, which will deal with Bali Rabbalamotze, I may still come to eat it by mistake. If my house is full of chametz all over, the cereal's over there, the nice cake's over there, right? You could put as many signs as you want, lemaisa as you want. There's a chashash will come to eat and grab from the chametz. We're going to see why soon, but that's a chashash. So bedika is in order to avoid me coming to eat it. Okay, and the bitul is in order to really not own it. The bitul is the one for Bali Motze. We still owe an explanation for Rashi, but this is what Tosfos says. Yeah, the bitul is not to own the chametz. The bedika is a safety belt, safety measurement mechanism, not to Khalila own the chametz and come to eat it. Now, the obvious question is, what do you mean I'll come to eat chametz? You think I'm a chiloni? Just because I come from where I come, yeah? What's the chash? Yeah, what's the problem? Yes, true. Why don't you have, let me ask you a question. Am I allowed to have a piece of chazer in my house? For shalom bayis reasons, no. But the answer is yes. Yes. You're allowed to raise chazirim, yeah? Mackenzie, the neighbor, gave you a piece of a ham to look after. You're allowed to. Yes, you're not gonna, wrap it up, put it in the fridge, and then give it back to Mackenzie. It's not also no. So why don't we say don't own at least medoraisa? Maybe there's a nuchum I don't never heard about. Why don't we say chazir in your house? Because why? Because he may come to eat it. Why dafka bechometz? The Chazal and actually the Torah, according to some Rishonim, became so machmir of not owning it. Maybe I'll come to eat it, right? Why? Dafka chometz says Tosfos the famous reason. V'atam shechmiru kan tfeimi b'shar isur ano. By the way, chazer is not even also ba'ano. Tosfos is upping the question more than me. Tosfos says even cheeseburger, which is osur ba'ano, we're not allowed to do anything with basa b'cholov. Yeah, you cooked basa b'cholov by mistake. Yeah, you're not allowed to have hano, but you can have it in your house. I'm saying no reason to have it. There's no Isser Torah, at least, to just have some basa b'cholov in the corner of your kitchen. Why aren't we concerned that you should kick it out of your house because you may come to eat it? Why? Why is chametz in that respect more osir and we're concerned you may come to eat it? The other isur ano, there's no necessity, no requirement to be mevail, to remove them, to get rid of them. You're a good yid. You never eat cheeseburger. You wouldn't even dream of that. You're not going to eat chazer. You're not going to eat isura no. Chazer is not also no, but I'm saying even basa b'cholov, yeah, it's also kol hashono. Mashain ken Pesach. The whole year around, you eat it. It's kosher mehadrin, mina mehadrin, but not say the charedis plus all the chsherim in the world, and a piece of bread and a cake. It's in your mentality, in your mind, it's kosher. You're used to eat the whole time, all year long. V'lo nesarak bePesach. Only in Pesach it's osir. That's a whole new reality. V'lo bedili minei. People don't naturally detach themselves. Bedila, they're not automatically detached or kind of disassociate themselves from it. Because of that, Chazal made the takana of what? Of having the bedika and biur besides the bitul. Bitul is not to own it. Bedika and biur is not to come chalila to eat it. Continues Tosfos, it's not similar to basar b'cholov, which is also bano. The all of kila kerem, both orla and kilaim are osir bano. Shisum nagisu oilam, the osir forever. V'chule. Yeah. Now, we're not going to nazir now. Inami. Second answer says Tosfos. Shayni chometz shechmir b'toiro lavo b'balero b'alimotze. Echmiru chachamim livdu kol avaroy v'afil echad bitloi yishum dil ma'aseh lamechle. Second answer Says Tosfos, we always know that kol tokun rabbanon ken doraisa tokun. Takonos rabbanon usually enhance the halachas doraisa, din doraisa. They follow the doraisa. They're kind of upgrade the doraisa. If the Torah told me bali roy bali motze, so what's the spirit of things? What's rochad dvarim? The Torah doesn't want you to have chametz in your house, right? Mimele Chachamim say we don't have to be smarter than that, and the Chachamim say we'll help the Torah, so to speak. It'll make a takana not to own it and to burn it. And enochinami, even though you don't really halachically own it once you mevatel, but it is really physically in your possession. It's in your vicinity. It's in your house. It's in your kitchen. In your order. Open. Here's a shot of whiskey. In the middle of the night, guy's tired. Oops, whiskey. Thank you. That's bad enough. So don't have it in your house because Shema, you'll come to eat it. So for two reasons. First of all, there's chashash. You may come too. You're not removed from it naturally the whole time. And secondly, the Torah says baliroy. So too, Chazal say don't really have it in your house. Having said that, it's interesting. The Ran says that the reason why the Torah gives time at the Kro, I think I saw it in other places, but today I saw it in the Ran. Why did the Torah say baliroy balimotze? That doesn't say. Yeah, let's dare to ask Hakadosh Baruch Hu in the Torah. Why did Hashem say baliroy balimotze? He asked about Chazal. I'm asking on the Torah. The Ran's asking. Same answer. Same answer. Hashem knew what people are like because Baruch Hu said you used to having chametz all the time, and you may come to eat it. That's good for why there's an issue d'oraisa b'lerov alemotze. Interesting. So Chazal just follow along. What? Oh no! How do you want to answer Rashi, my dear neighbor? No. So Rashi says shalaval b'lerov alemotze. Yeah, we're going to see an answer for Rashi. What are you saying? I want to hear. No. No, lechol is not ba'al rabbi limotze. You saying ba'al rabbi limotze is no. The time of the kro ba'al rabbi limotze is you may come to eat it, but that's a separate iser. Not close. So now, Rashi says shlover ba'al rabbi limotze. My knee-jerk reaction was so Rashi, and we're going to see the Ran now. I don't want to forget Mishtabur today, so bring it tomorrow too. Mishtabur is obviously the last part of the story, so sorry for making you slip it, but bring it tomorrow again. I would say, in my Tmimis Dika, very, very small opinion, Rashi is not wrong by saying Lo Yavel Balo Balemotze, because you can be very smart by saying, you know what? I know, I'm from, I'm 54. My whole life, what did I do? I do the bdika, I do the biur, the other bitul before that, and then I do bitul. So once I do bitul, which will be tomorrow morning, retroactively, what I'm doing now, that's not bala right? Because you will do what? You'll do the bitul. Now that's very nice. That's if you look if you with eyes on the future. But if you look at the person who right now has chametz in his house, he has a nice cakes, which he may find sometime. He has a whiskey, he has bread, he has pasta, he has whatever, right? He's not into Atkins apparently or keto. He has a lot of chametz in the house, right? So now you tell me, you tell me, friends, what are your opinion? This guy right now, if Pesach would have come now in half a second, yeah, and he has a chametz in his house, would be over the rice? Yes or no? Yes. It's true that bitul eventually will take care of it. But if you look chronologically, step by step, right now, I'm in a situation of, it's not Pesach yet, but my house right now is also the Raisa for Pesach. Yes, true or false? True. Therefore, it's true. It's not wrong for Rashi to say that right now the bedika is lo lavo balo balematze. I tomorrow do the bitul. When tomorrow comes, we'll talk. Yeah, tomorrow we'll do lots of things. You can go to I don't know what to Schwigger. I don't know. We'll go and dance hula hoop. Balamaisa, that's the second part of the story. I'm just saying, Balabatish, you can read Rashi. We're going to see the Ran, which says something along the same lines. But Betzim Rashi is telling me, right now, this is not the Balamotze. Now, before the Ran, I'm going to tell you Balpeh how the Bartanura defends Rashi. Bartanura and Rashi, good friends. I mean, not in real life, but in many times it says similar things. But the Nur says something which is I think close to what you're saying. What's this saying? What did the Gemara say? Why do I do bdika even though I have the why do I do bitul? Why do I do the bitul? I do the bitul because even though you check, the bitul you have to do, obviously, checking and just getting rid of everything is not good enough. You thought you checked everything. There's a very, very nice, delicious favorite cake over there in your 3 years old cupboard, which you forgot to check. Yeah, it's just too unbelievable to check that place. And really, you'll find it. And for a few minutes, you may really lose it and want to own it, right? That's why we do the what? We do the bitul. Now, why isn't bitul enough? So do the bitul alone. So Taisa says, why? Don't do only bitul. You may want to eat it. Says the Baltanura, there's another reason. The reason is if you find this gluska ifefia, you'll annul the annulment. As opposed to what we said before, and I'm aware I didn't say that before because it wasn't all Baltanura. You'll be mevatel the bitul. You want it so much, machshava matels machshava. You'll want it. You want to own it. Yitzhar will just stun you, and then you'll be over bala matzah. Get it? In other words, bitul is not foolproof. It's not all up to your mind. Yeah. And anyway, as the Mishmur will see later says, bitul is very fickly. Maybe your bitul is not for real. Let's say you have just bitul, you have 10,000 worth of whiskey and billions of beautiful cakes. I'm talking a bit childishly, but yeah, you have nice chametz all over. Yeah, your bitul maybe bitul because I'm from I'm mevater. I don't know how good the bitul. If you don't really try to be mevayer, what's going to be? What will it be? You'll be over bali matzah. The bitul is the fickly thing. The bitul is not a stable thing. Therefore, you have what? You have the biur in order not to be matzah. Because even as opposed to what Tosfos said, bitul alone is not foolproof against badar matzah. There, you hear? You're with me, yeah? So that's good. But you're talking. So that's how we can answer Rashi. However, there's also Ran and also Mishnah Brura at the end. So I think I'll keep that for tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to see the Ran over here, at least the first piece of the Ran to explain Rashi, and we'll see the Mishnah Brura that explains one need b'dik and bitul halacha. We don't have time now to see the whole thing. Tomorrow I think the shiur will be even at the beginning, and then we'll go more to the Bekiyas. Yeah, we'll do Amud Beis, and then we'll skip a daf and go more into the Pesachim, real Pesachim kind of sugyas. We'll see. We'll see tomorrow. We'll see tomorrow. Beseder, thank you very much. Atzlochu v'rocha. Yeah, I hope that was good. Not good. We used to quicker, but we're going a little bit slower today. Thank you very much. Atzlochu v'rocha b'chol ha'inyonim. Thank you guys. May we be zoichet to bring Mashiach and bring Pesach besimcha rabba ubekashrut mehuderes. Shkoyach.